Think about the questions you ask. If I've said it once, you know I'm going to say it again. The key when it comes towards closing more business is just improving the questions that you're asking. If you're asking dumb questions, you're going to get dumb answers. If you're asking great questions, shoot, you're going to get some great answers. And that's going to help you close the deal. But more important than that, when you ask great questions, especially questions tailored towards your prospect's personality, they're going to divulge everything you need to know. And in this episode, we're going to tell you how you can go about doing that. Buckle up. It's going to be good. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast here on TSC TV on YouTube. I'm your host, Donald Kelly, the Sales Evangelist, and I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And on this episode, yes, not that one, not the one from a month ago, this one today, we're going to talk to the one and only Mr. David Garcia, and David's going to break down and share with you some of his insights when it comes towards asking effective questions. I was talking to David before our interview, and he gave us, it's going to be 4 main areas that we're going to cover. Let's do that right, because I was playing with that in interview there. 4 main points when it comes towards asking, how we can get to the point where we're asking questions based on our client's personality. He's going to break it down. He's going to give you what you need to know. You're going to give you what you need to learn. And when you could take these things and apply them, money in the bank. Great results will come from that. I won't take up much more time. Let's go ahead and jump in. Oh, by the way, if this is your first time listening, or if you have never done so already, just go ahead and subscribe. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever, just hit that subscribe button. It would be greatly appreciated. And also, if you are a return listener, it goes a long way, man. Just leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Just tell us how much you like the podcast and how it's helped you. It just helps others when they're coming in after you to see that. Thank you. Appreciate you. Let's go ahead and dive into the show now. David, welcome to the show, man.
Donald, thank you so much. Really excited to be here.
Of course. I'm looking forward to this a lot because I'm a big believer that when it comes towards selling, like the questioning side, the discovery component, that's where the deal closes. If you're trying to close a deal, what I've seen many times with sellers is that they think that I have to wait for the close to start closing a deal. If you can start now while you're crafting questions, it's going to be even much better. And especially today, we're going to be cooking with hot chicken grease, as one of my guests said the other day. We want to learn, how do we craft these questions based on our client's personality? So I'm open and I'm willing to hear, and I'm here, David. Guide me. But before we dive into that, tell us a little bit more about you, David.
Sounds good. Well, Donald, thanks again for having me on the show today. My name's Dave Garcia. I'm the CEO of Scout Logic. We are a fast-growing pre-employment background check company. But my trade, my profession is B2B sales and marketing. I've been doing B2B sales and marketing for 25 years. It's been most of my career. And my particular specialty in this world is elephant hunting. Big enterprise deals that require lots of discovery and lots of strategy. So when we kind of tossed out today's topic to me, it's something that's really relevant, and I was really excited to talk about with you.
All right, I'm looking forward to that, man. That should be good. I love the idea of the elephant hunting. I just picture we should have brought some safari hats today.
That's awesome.
Have some safari hats and just do some play on that. But anyways, guys, you can tell David and I have lots of fun. So David, today we're going to be tackling this idea of how to craft those questions. So let's break that down. I know you mentioned to me there are 4 main things that you want to. That's 4. There's 4 main things that you want to typically focus on when it comes towards crafting those questions based on a client's personality. Do you mind telling me what those 4 things are? Then we could take some time and break each of them down.
Absolutely. Well, let's start, I think, one with the sales professional needs to rethink their role in the process from, hey, I'm here to sell, to actually they almost need to become more of an intelligence agent, like a Carrie Matheson from Homeland, and we can talk more about that. Next is, as they learn more about that prospect, they need to uncover and find what is that person's learning style. How best can they absorb information and give information? Third is, and I think this is the most critical one, is what's their personal win, which may not always be aligned with their business objective. And then lastly, how do you start to strategize and prioritize what questions to craft? Because in the age of Zoom, Donald, and I know you know this, the amount of time you have to ask somebody questions has gotten an awful lot less in the last year. And I don't think magically people are going to want salespeople showing back up in their doors quite yet.
Not so much quite yet. Well, let's go ahead
Let's
and
hope
tackle number
soon.
one. Yeah. But let's go with the first one. Let's talk about that.
Well, as a sales professional, we think like Alec Baldwin from Glengarry Glen Ross, right? ABC, always be closing. I'm here to pitch and talk and sell and convince people, right? And we all know that sales professional.
Yeah.
But particularly in enterprise deals, but I think this is relevant for every size deal. It's the Carrie Matheson kind of CIA agent from Homelands, which I find are often the best salespeople for two reasons. Okay. One is they're incredibly curious and they're trying to understand everything about a situation in terms of buyer motivations, organizational politics, how things get done. And then they often then have a point of view where they can take that information and align their organization's goal to it. Not just repeating the same playbook message over and over again, but using what they learn to craft a really relevant strategy and value proposition. And to do that well, Donald, and we'll talk about this next, it has to be, when it comes to crafting questions, it's 80% research, 20% the act of asking questions. The seller needs to be doing a ton of research in advance, if that makes sense.
No, it does, and I love this idea, and we're going to link back to the Carrie Matheson concept. I'm teaching a class for my alma mater. They launched a sales program, and I'm helping them with they've been doing it for about 2 years now, and helping on one of their programs. And one of the things that I told the students about was, I feel that if you're two classes, I felt that if I could go back in and do in college, I would spend more time in. One would be, or three classes. One would have been human psychology, understanding more about people. Number two, I told them I should have paid them more attention in accounting, like understand the finance component, understand the language of business, because if you can understand the language of business, the way money flow with an organization, how things happen, so forth, you can help to have good discovery conversation. Because then the third component, being an analyst. If you can focus on being an analyst, money in the bank. And that goes back to this idea of being curious, where this Carrie Matheson concept, like if you can come with that curiosity to that table, if you can come with that analytical to understand the problems in organization, because you know the language of business and how finances work, I mean, why wouldn't you be successful? But we go back to, again, Glenn Ross. This is how you close a deal. This is the question. This is the closing question you ask. Use a Ben Franklin close, and it's like that doesn't give you the result that you need. So anyway, I love that. So great point with the learning component. So number one.
And the question I was getting after that is, well, how do you do that? Like, how do you find out information about an organization? And I think most salespeople are versed in how to do information on a company, right? Like annual reports, Twitter feeds, all their social media. You can learn a lot that way. But when I say research, I mean I want to learn about the buyer, the person who's on the other end of the call or the other end of the table. And I always divide it up into both primary and secondary research. And on secondary research, I always challenge salespeople in larger deals, learn everything you can through the internet. It's amazing what you can learn about an individual buyer on the internet. So there's the obvious, right? There's LinkedIn. Well, I can get their career history. Well, a lot of people still leave their Facebook profiles public. You can learn a lot that way. I can look at who they're following on Instagram. Boy, I learn a lot about a buyer personally and professionally by who they follow in the social media world, right? You know this. One of the best ways to build rapport with someone is find common interest. One of my favorite stories is out in a negotiation 6 years ago, found out that the lawyer on the other side of the table loves golden retrievers, like a massive golden retriever fan. I grew up with a golden retriever, Donald. In a non-creepy way, I found a way to work my love for golden retrievers into that conversation. Boy, did the ice melt really quickly, right? An example of that research in common. But there are other sources of information that are publicly available too. The Federal Election Commission keeps a record of everybody's political donations, right? Sure helps to tell these days, whether you like it or not, someone's political affiliation on the other side across from you in terms of what to bring up or what not to bring up. So do your homework there. And then it's all about finding real live intelligence on them. This is the primary piece. This is when you're going to use your own network to be like, okay, I don't know Donald directly, but my friend knows Donald from LinkedIn. I'm going to get on the phone with them and be like, tell me everything there is to know about Donald. What is he like? What's he into? What are his personal and professional motivations? do all that I'm going to do all that homework before I get on the phone with you to ask you one question.
Oh, so good. Because yeah, I mean, I think on so many different levels, you're coming to the party a little bit more prepared. I mean,
That's
I think
right.
sometimes people might think, well, before I call a prospect for the first time, I need to do a lot of research. I imagine this is for people that you're probably, it's a qualified lead. There's something that's going to be going down, like, something good that's going to happen. Your deal is moving forward, where you can come with
Yep.
that intel. So love it. All right. So number one is down. Number two, what's the second point? The second principle that we should learn?
We want to start to assess learning style. So, Don, I'm very blessed. I'm married to a wonderful woman who was a former teacher. And I remember early in my career, she's listening to me talk about my work. And, I kind of had one way to interact with clients from a question perspective, right? The Dave Garcia way, which you're going to be shocked wasn't always effective. And my wife wisely goes, well, are you adapting yourself to their learning style? I'm like, well, learning style, what are you talking about? And so she educated me. We all have four primary learning styles, right? Some of us like to learn from an audio perspective, listening, some visual, like I have to read, some visual from a graphed perspective, and then lastly, tactile and touch. So I always like to try and find out either from others in my research, or sometimes I even ask the prospect directly, hey, what's the best way for you to get and give information, right? Do you want to jump on a call? That's audio. Do you want to do it over email? That's reading. Do I need to get on a whiteboard with you? That's visual. And then the last one on tactile, you're like, Donald, how do I do that? I've had clients where I draw up index cards for different choices, and they can move those indexes around virtually or in a real situation to figure out what's the best way for them to get and give that information.
Oh, dude, I love it. You heard of the platinum rule before?
I don't know. I don't think so. Give it to me. Oh, golden rule, of course. Give me the platinum
golden
rule.
Yeah, it's like treat others the way that you would like to be treated. And when you teach me that, the component you just did, I think about the platinum rule. And the platinum rule states that treat others the way that they would like to be treated. Because I love my cookies and cream ice cream, but David, you might hate cookies and cream. It's not advantageous for me to give you cookies and cream. Let's go ahead and give you what you like. And you said, you love strawberry. I'm making this up. So I'm going to give you strawberry so that you can enjoy that. And give if I might feel comfortable talking on the phone, but you are comfortable talking on video or messenger. Shoot, I'm going to figure out. Let's go ahead and do that, because it's not about me. It's about you. So
absolutely.
So learning their learning style. Keep going. Sorry, go
So
ahead.
now that we know the learning style, now we got to figure out the most important thing, which is what's their personal win, right? Hopefully you've learned that win. Hopefully you've learned a little bit already, so you're kind of armed, because the more you know, the more specific a question you can ask. But let's say you don't. Let's just say it's a conversation like this. Then you're trying to get a sense of, okay, what's the business goal here, right? Most B2B buyers have a business goal they're trying to get to. So for simplicity's sake, let's say, hey, I'm trying to save my company 10%. I always try to push a little bit bigger. Like, well, what's on your scorecard this year? What are you trying to get done? And then I look for things that they don't necessarily say, but I can deduce. So a great example is, let's say we're talking to Donald. Donald, you're trying to save your company 10% this year. What's on your scorecard? I have it identified by July 1st. Okay, this is interesting. Now I know a business goal, and I know some prime pressure and deadline. Hey, Donald, tell me about the rest of your career. Well, I actually am going to retire later in the year. That's interesting.
If you want to, David, we could go ahead and do a real role play with this.
Well, all right. Well, so let's do this. Let's do this right now. So
I'm throwing David on the spot, guys.
I love it. All right. So John, just bear with me, because I'm going to do this a little quicker because of our time constraints. But we get on the phone. But Donald, great to meet you. Blah blah blah. Hey, Donald, tell me, what are you trying to get done? What's the business goal you're trying to achieve here?
Man, this year I've been in business a little bit. I want to hit that. I want to hit over the $1 million revenue mark this year.
That's all. That's a really, really great objective. And kind of roughly, where are you at right now, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, our companies just keep going along. We are shy last year. We hit 800, and we just know we could get better. All the different excuses could be out there, but we want to hit that 1 million, over that million.
That's awesome. So kind of 20-30% growth goal, a nice aggressive goal. That's fantastic. And then on your kind of personal scorecard, in terms of where your company measures you, is that like the goal that's weighted the most? Did they give you a deadline against it? Are there any other MBOs on there for you?
Probably the next big thing that we look at, obviously, is besides hitting your numbers, is just like they're big on activities, right? So your meaningful sales activities and whatnot. Those are some of the things that we look at.
Activity metrics. Who doesn't love activity metric tracking, right? That company does that to me too. So, and to see, I guess looked at your LinkedIn profile briefly. How long have you kind of been in the role and with the company?
I've been here 5 years, so.
You like it?
I like it. They're good people. So they take care of me. So.
Awesome.
I wish they'd give us more ice cream on Fridays, but you know what? That's okay.
And how long have you been in this specific job for?
I've been in this role for 2 years.
For 2 years.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. And how if we can help you kind of get to that next level, in addition to hopefully getting a very nice bonus check and some more ice cream, kind of how's that gonna help you professionally in terms of your next goal?
I mean, one of the things I'm looking at, David, I want to go towards. I mean, I'm a senior account executive, so the next major thing that I could possibly get is oversee a team, and our company's growing, so I want to oversee
managing
a team. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Long term, look towards
that's
that.
Awesome. All right, cutscene. Wow, we just learned a lot about Donald. A lot about Donald. That was very good. It was very good. Right? So we learned the business objectives, right? Hey, 20 to 30% growth. We learned that they're all about activities. We learned that growth has been stalled a little bit and that they're trying to get there. But then we got the golden nugget, right? Donald's young, he's hungry, he wants a team. It's all about getting to that manager level for Donald, right? In addition to ice cream. So those are two very different types of motivations, aren't they?
Yeah.
Right? So now as a seller, now that I know that, when I start thinking about how I'm going to craft the value proposition, I'm crafting not only a way to get that goal for him, but I'm crafting a way that Donald can keep building bricks towards getting to his personal win, which is managing a team. And whatever my solution is, that's what I'm doing. So my solution would likely say, hey, I'm also going to introduce you to 4 other people who are at a level above you who are using this service in other companies to give you some ideas on how to do this, and wink, wink, some career advice. Networking from my friend Donald. I've moved buyers around to multiple different companies over the course of my career, right? Because that's what Donald's looking for in terms of his next experience. When I think about that solution based on your personal one, I'm trying to kind of engineer whatever I'm selling to how it can be scalable and how Donald can roll it more out to people so he looks like a leader when he's presenting this to his management on the next level. I'm looking at everything through that viewpoint because that's how we're going to really get Donald. It's just, hey, we're not the best solution, but we're the best solution that also associates with his personal win.
Love it. Bro, that was great. So you guys see that David is the real deal. He doesn't just talk. He actually does the stuff. So love it, David. Great point there. Great example. Let's come down to the last one then. How we'll go about crafting.
So now it's the thoughtful questions, right? Here's the mistake I meet so many sellers make. My manager told me I've got to get these 30 questions answered in order to update the opportunity stage in Salesforce. I'm sure lots of our audience has suffered through that, right? What buyer today has time to give that information? And 2, I think that if you're familiar with the challenger sale methodology, I think they really captured in the last 5-6 years is actually buyers don't want to give you a lot of information anymore. Like they want solutions. They want to know that you're coming with, best practice, expertise, and advice, to your early comment on that analysis, experience going into it. They want that information. So extracting information from buyers is as hard as it's ever been. So what I really encourage folks to craft is where are you at in the sales process and what's going to move you next? If it's discovery stage, boy, the emphasis on your questions needs to be all about business needs and personal wins. If you're in that value proposition stage, your questions need to be all about differentiation. Why am I different than the next person? And retesting your close, right? Is this actually delivering on the value that you need? And then if you're in the closing stage, the questions really need to focus heavily on what does the process look like to get from A to Z and get us over the goal line? What objections are you hearing? Now, obviously, Don, you sprinkle some of those throughout the entire process, but those are where I tell people to really focus their questions is really where they're based in the process overall.
Love it, man. If there is one major piece of advice, one major piece of takeaway you want somebody listening to this episode to walk away with so that they can be more effective, what's that one major piece of advice?
Do your homework up front. Man, so many sellers, they get the lead, they just jump on the phone right away. And I get it, right? You get a hot MQL in, you're supposed to be on the phone within 5 minutes. I'm not saying don't do that, but I'm saying grab a little piece of information as much as you can. If it's a quick sale, if it's a longer sale, do your homework up front. Even a half hour of research on a company or a buyer is going to make you a way better salesperson.
Love it, man. Well, this was great. You gave us a lot of great insights, a lot of great stuff to think about here. If folks out there listening want to get in touch with you, they want to get connected with this David guy, how did it go about connecting with David?
David.Garcia at ScoutLogicScreening.com. Always happy to help fellow sellers and just really appreciate you having me on today, Donald.
David, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you, and thank you for going through this. And thanks for being a good sport and doing an example.
My pleasure. Take care and good selling.
That was the one and only David Garcia. If you want to go ahead and connect with David, you can find all of his information down below. If you're watching this on TSC TV on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done so. But scroll down, you'll see some information there to get access to David, as well as go to our website. And you can also go to tscstudios.io or to salesevangelist.com to get access to the content and get access to the amazing things that we're sharing here. I appreciate you all being here. I appreciate you sacrificing time. Actually, I appreciate you investing. You are investing in yourself when you listen to these episodes. We're bringing on these guests who can share wonderful information, rich information that can help you to thrive in your sales role. As always, I do this because I want to help you. Our sponsors to this podcast are giving you some great offers. I recommend you take advantage of them and some good deals that are coming out there. I mean, I'm just saying these things work, right? Take advantage of it. I want you to find more of those ideal customers. I want you to know what to say when you reach out to these prospects. I want you to be able to close more deals. But naturally, the most important part is I want you to raise your level of thinking and go out and do big things. Thank you so much for watching. Hey, thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video today. If you enjoyed the content, I ask you to go ahead and hit that like button, that thumbs up at the bottom right-hand corner. Also, to make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. This way, we'll keep you up to date with all the latest sales strategies, latest tools, and things that are going to help you to not only find more prospects, but to close more deals. Thanks so much.